Okay, it's Saturday, July 27th. Beautiful day out here. I just got to a bay outside of Victoria, British Columbia, and I'm just leaving the marina now, transiting out. Plan today is to go salmon fishing and look for coho and Chinook. This is my first time running the boat solo, so it should be interesting. Wish me luck. Trying to get out here and get a rod in the water, and then I'll try to get organized while trolling and watching the rods here. So first things first, pick out some tackle. Alright, this one's a no-brainer for me, so I'm going to run the green lemon line Gibbs flasher, and I'm going to combo it with the Irish cream. This is what was catching the majority of the coho I caught about 2 weeks ago, so we're gonna go with that. We have wildfires going on in BC right now, pretty heavily, and yeah, as you can see, maybe you can't see, but it's pretty smoky out here. Makes for a nice sunrise though. So what I like to do to set up my clip is when I turn my downrigger to on, it's going to come up and auto shut itself off. So just let it come up and it shuts off right there. And then, so I don't have to press the button and bring it in further to grab the clip, I just put my clip right here. So my line's going to be a little bit above my cannonball, but that's okay. The only thing you got to watch out for is if for some reason this wants to slide on your line, if it comes up, you'll potentially lose your clip if it hits that pulley. So there it is, that's the Irish cream Skinny G. Barbless hook, of course, with probably a 4.5 foot leader, maybe 5 feet. So for me, you know, fishing's luck, fishing's skill, but a lot of fishing is just having a line in the water. So the first thing I do when I get out here is I focus all my energy in getting a line out. So I haven't even started my kicker yet, picked out any other gear, even hooked up one other downrigger yet. I'm just trying to get my first line in the water so I can technically be fishing. What's going on with this, but all of a sudden it's kicked into sim mode, so I need to get my other finder hooked up. I can deal with that after. I just know it's not 40 feet here, it's probably more like 80. There we go, got the Lowrance coming on now. Hopefully this one works, and I'll have to figure out what's going on with this old one. I started seeing these like really nice arches. They're like beautiful arches. Like I've never seen a picture that clear on a fish finder in the ocean, so I knew something was up. Get this first rod down to 50 feet for now. So that's the green flasher with the Irish cream spoon. Now I'm gonna get this kicker going. Well, usually when I'm trolling for salmon, I shoot for somewhere around like 1.5 knots to 2.2, depending on species and stuff. So I'm gonna try to kick up the speed a little bit. I'm currently at 0.8 knots, so I'll try about 2. There you go. We're all hooked up. Once that tie bar is on the kicker, now I can steer with my main helm here. Still only doing about 0.8 knots, so I'm gonna keep adding speed. Looks like the guys in front of me just pulled one in. Time to start thinking about my second setup here. So here's what I picked out for my second setup. So this is it's like a purpley pink flasher. They call it Maddie. And then I've got probably a 4.5 foot leader to a herring aid. That's a Gibbs Ouija. It's basically like a coho killer, if you've heard of those. Same idea, herring aid color though. Maddie flasher. You get that on the second one and get fishing. You can check the action on these too. Just stream it in the water at the speed you're going, and if you want to like change it a little bit, just add a slight bend. This one, I like the shape of that one right now, so I'm just gonna leave it. I've got both lines in the water finally. This one's at 50 and this one's at about 70. So now I can take care of this mess in my boat, hopefully. Get my deck organized, that way when a fish hits, I'll have room. Alright, I'm finally doing my first bait check on the first rod I put in. So now that I got a little more time and I've already got a rod in the water, I don't have that anxiety. So put some herring oil on there and get this back in the water. Well, there's a lot of boats out here, as you can see. So I'm just trying to make sure I don't get in anyone's way while trying to set up 2 rods and watch 2 rods at the same time. So. All right, so the goal for today is to catch 2 hatchery coho that are bigger than 30 centimeters. And then 1 Chinook, also has to be hatchery, and it has to be bigger than 45 centimeters. But for the hatchery Chinook, I actually have to be in this zone back here. So I probably will try to get the coho first, and then if I can get those coho, then I'll start putting myself in that zone where I can keep a Chinook. So it's always good to have a VHF radio for safety, of course, but the other thing you can do with it is just turn it on. Sometimes the fishermen will start chatting about what depths and speeds that they're catching fish at, so you can snipe some information from there sometimes. It's a nice asset to have. It's so tight in here, there's boats friggin' everywhere. There's a boat here, one coming at me, 2 guys like really close to me on this side. This guy is on to one. I actually met him at the gas station this morning. He recognized me from my YouTube videos. We got onto our first fish. We got it at 60 feet. Let's see what it is. Just trying to be careful with all the other boats out here. Looks like I got lots of room. What are you? Oh, we got one on the other side now. Crap. That's a tight clip. Just a little guy. That's alright, we're catching fish, right? I can never tell when they're small like this. I have a hard time figuring out if it's a Chinook or a coho, but either way it's going back, so whatever. Well, there we go, 2 fish. Almost a double header, I guess. Pretty gnarly wind out here. Yeah, I know people are pretty good at identifying salmon, but I'm just, for whatever reason, I have a hard time with coho and Chinook. I think if you grow up doing it, you kind of take it for granted. You just kind of know by looking at it, right? If you didn't grow up doing it, I don't know, that knowledge just isn't there. But I can usually figure it out when they're a decent size, but when they're small like that, it's probably better if I just let them go quickly, right? Rather than handle the fish and look at them and all that crap. If I know I'm not going to keep it, might as well get it back in the water. The fog is rolling in out there. It just got super cold. Big wind coming around the corner here. So I had to bundle up a bit. Oh, we got a fish. There he goes. Alright, he was pretty small. I wasn't going to keep him anyway, so slipped the hook. That one was at 85 feet. Trying to get this second fish finder working. I think I've isolated the problem. It's definitely with this connection. It detects that there's no transducer and it automatically kicks it into sim mode as soon as I turn it on. Yeah, it's not working. I'll have to play with those pins later, get that thing going good.
We'll keep it posted. We're straight down, nice and slack. Tide's good. Nothing but dogs so far.
So those guys are talking about halibut fishing and whether their lines are straight down, how bad the current is and stuff. But yeah, this is what I was saying. Sometimes you can snipe a little bit of information from the VHF. So it always helps to have your trails on your chart system, just because then you know if you hit a fish or something, you can go back over that spot. Now, salmon are in schools and they move around quite a bit, but they do tend to go back to the same spots and they kind of do a loop. So we're gonna do a loop too, and hopefully we meet them around the same area. There he goes. Too easy. This fish number 5. That last fish was at 75 and the one before that was at 85. Fish number 6. It's a feisty fish. I think that's the biggest one yet. Yeah, hatchery Chinook, I believe. It's going back. That's 6 fish. This one's back down to 60. This one's still riding down at 51. Just kind of been doing circles just outside of the Chinook zone, so maybe I'll just jump into the Chinook zone real quick, and if I get a Chinook just by chance, I can possibly keep it if it's big enough. The DFO survey girl, she gave me this piece of paper last time because I made a joke. I was like, oh, these are coho, right? And she's like, here, I'll give you this just for your next time. I mean, these fish all look exactly the same to me. This is bologna. 2-hour-old hash brown from Tim Hortons. It'll do. No, it's not that big. That's how she goes. Well, that's fish 7. We got one. It's pretty deep too, down at 102. Hopefully he's still there. I think so. Not the ideal way to release a fish, but that's just what happens. There's crazy current in this area. I was just trying to get my rod set up and I got sucked basically all the way east here. So now I'm just trying to work my way back west. Somehow managed to get my lines tangled on each other. I gotta sort this out. Be right back. I'm just gonna get out of this current area. I don't like it. It's really got me all tangled up. So I pulled up my downriggers and all the rods and stuff. A hooch in a long time, so I think I might do that. Put this white one on there. I'm gonna match it with the flasher that's already on the other side. I'm gonna keep the green lemon lime with the Irish cream, but I'm gonna put white hooch in replacement of that herring Ouija that's on there. And I'm gonna set this almost to the bottom, I think. All right, so I still got the Matty flasher on here, but I just added a white hoochie, and it's got a real short lead. Oh, it got bites, there it is. I think I lost it. Oh, the other rod's going. I'm gonna set this one down. like fishing 10 at least. All right, put it back down to 130. Just coming into that Chinook territory now, so. Just coming into the Chinook zone, so this rock, I need to be on this side of that rock. And then over there from that rock, I need to be on the left side. So I'm just entering the Chinook zone now. For like the first time ever, I'm actually seeing arches on this thing. There's one at 50-ish, another one at about 70-ish. So on the starboard side, we've got the Maddie flasher, that's the purplish colored flasher. It's down at 70 feet. And then I've got that white hoochie on there. And then on this side, I'm still running the lemon lime flasher with the Irish cream, and it's at 65 feet. And as I get more water below me, I'm just gonna keep pushing this white hoochie down to basically the bottom, 4 or 5 feet off the bottom. Just looking for that big Chinook. Doing about 1.5 knots right now according to the GPS, so I think I'm gonna speed it up just a touch. Nice bait ball right there. Okay, we got a good fish, I think. Clear water ahead. Right in the zone. Come on, hatchery Chinook. That's that white hooch, the Maddie flasher. Oh yeah, that's a half decent fish. There it is, boys, girls. Nice hatchery Chinook. I'll take it. 45 centimeters. Heck yeah. So from that rock over to that rock, I'm just inside of it right now. You can see his adipose fin. No fin there. He's a hatchery. Nice little chunker. He's probably, 7 or 8 pounds maybe. I'll take him. That's my Chinook for the day. Then we got to go find some coho. And I am in area 20, tack 5. 8 more Chinook allowed for the year. Alright, I'm gonna head out of the zone here, the Chinook zone, since I've got my one for the day. That's all you can get. There's one hatchery. It's got to be over 45 centimeters, which is what I got there. So now I can head out of the zone back to where I was before, and hopefully I run into that coho school. I'll start picking up a couple of those. I've got this rod back in the water. I put a blue and silver spoon on, took that white hoochie off, threw it down there for now. I like running those hoochies like real deep, but I don't see me catching any coho on that hoochie. It's just, I don't know. This one's down at 63, and this one's down at 80. I'm well out of that Chinook zone now. Alright, still in search for the coho. We've got the Irish cream over here at 50 feet. And then we've got that blue and silver. I think it's called a tailspin. And it's down at 61 feet. It's been slow for a bit, but I think we got one on here now. It's just like another shaker Chinook. Okay. I think that's fish like 13 or 14 maybe more. Nice little bait ball right there. It's down pretty deep, down at like 109 feet. I'm gonna save it. So I think what I'm gonna do is just head out into much deeper water. I know there's a lot of boats around here, but people just congregate because they see other people there, and all it takes is one person, then everyone else starts following each other around. So I'm not really thinking there's schools of coho right here. I want to go into a little bit deeper water and see what I can find on my my sounder. Well, I'm out in deeper water now, so I moved out to 360 feet. Let's see how this does. Still got the same gear on. Got the Matty flasher, the blue and silver spoon. 87 feet on this side. Oh, we got a fish on. There we go. That didn't take long. Couldn't get it off the clip. I think it's gone. No! I thought he was gone, but he was fast. He was catching up to me the whole time. But I was also doing a big circle, so I'm gonna get this back down to 125, and I'm probably gonna send the other one back down, probably around the same spot or maybe a little bit higher. Okay, let's do that again. So that was the lemon lime with the Irish cream. The thing kills. But anyway, I'm in deep water, so up like 400 feet of water. I've got the line down to 125. This guy's at like 87. I'm gonna send this one down to like 120 and see if we can get into some coho here. Hard to get off the clip, but see if he's still there. A little fighter. Let's see if this is a coho or not. Really curious. Don't fall off there. I think it's a Chinook. Yeah, that's a Chinook. You see its spots on the bottom of its tail. Whew. The other one just started going as I'm starting to send that other one in. There he is. This one came from 118 feet of water. All right. I think I'll keep coming up, so I'll just slowly work my line up the water column. See what we can find. I'm gonna put this one at 115. All right, they're both back down. 115, 110. Doing a knot and a half or so. Sitting in about 380 feet of water. Been a bit slow, but we're on to one. Something a little bigger than some of the other shakers. We're not having much luck out here. Just getting shakers that are all kind of approximately the same size. So I think I'm going to turn and head over towards shore, control the shoreline a little bit at shallow depths, like 40 to 60 feet. See if we get any coho over there. I just had a little double header in here. I think they're both Chinooks. This one's a Chinook. Okay, chill, bro. There you go. One out. There's the little guys. It is a coho, but it's wild. Alright, going back in. Break! Okay, finally found a coho, 64 feet. That's the biggest bait ball I've seen out here. That thing is crazy. I saw this guy on the rocks here just pulling a fish and he kept it, so I guess he found a hatchery coho. Well, I think I've had enough. I'm gonna pack it in. I think I caught something like 17, somewhere between 15 and 20 fish. I just pulled all the rods in and the downriggers in, and we're ready to transit back to the marina. I'd say that was a success. I mean, I got one Chinook, and I mean, I couldn't find the coho the way I wanted to, but that's all right. This is my first time taking the boat out solo, so it was a unique experience to run all the rods and try to steer the boat, and it went pretty well. I didn't lose any gear, and now I just need to make it back to the marina. His tail. See how it does going up this bend here. Not too bad. There we go. Straighten himself out. Nice fillet. Not too bad at all.